The first affirmative claim states that the assault weapon bans worked in reducing the number of mass shootings. However, the percentage of the mass shooting didn't decrease significantly from the decade before. The number of mass shootings that my opponent stated might not be the effect of the assault weapons, as there are a variety of factors that could affect a spike or decline in gun violence. As stated in a report from the National Research Council, noted that a recent evaluation of the short-term effects of the 1994 federal assault weapon ban did not reveal clear impacts on the gun violence outcomes. According to the Washington Post, because mass shootings are relatively rare, it's difficult to tell whether this was just a random blip or caused by the ban. There were still 16 mass shootings while the ban was in effect, which resulted in 237 deaths or injuries. In fact, it was while the ban was in effect that the Columbine High School massacre happened, in which 13 students were killed and 24 injured. Furthermore, according to research by the National Institute of Justice, United States Department of Justice, among mass shootings, most didn't involve an assault weapon in the decade before the ban happened. Furthermore, in a research by Grant Dew, Director of Research and Evaluation at the Minnesota Department of Corrections, that assembled a data set going back 100 years from the 1900s to 2012, says his research shows that assault weapons are used in a relatively small number of cases. 5 mass shootings that took place with assault weapons in a decade before the ban, and 3 took place during its tenure. These numbers are far too small for any sort of statistical invert. That's from the LA Times. And the second claim made by my opponent is that the assault weapons ban did not infringe the Second Amendment right of any U.S. citizens. However, there has been no clear statements about this topic. In 2011, the Supreme Court gave pro-gun and advocates a sweeping victory which interpreted the Second Amendment as giving Americans an individual right to possess a gun unconnected with service in the militia. The decisions which made local handguns ban unconstitutional also reinforced that there were some limits to Americans' gun rights, but it did not state the clear line between the ban and the Second Amendment. The third claim that was made by the first affirmative was that the majority of the public supports stricter laws and restrictions on assault-style weapons. Even if this is true, if the law was stricter and assault-style weapon was restricted, it wouldn't hold much effect to the current situation. There is no denying that the AR-15, an open-source modular weapon platform, that the fruit of many tens and billions of private and public dollars in small arms research and almost 6 decades of innovation, is the most easy to use and the most lethal gun. But based on the modularity of the AR-15's design, that if a new ban passes, and if anything like the old one, millions of the Americans will be able to legally obtain substantially the same guns they can buy today, but in pieces. It would not have a considerate effect to the overall gun violence and circulations of the weapons. And also, in the Second Amendment, there is no meaningful or persuasive constitutional distinction between semi-automatic handguns and semi-automatic rifles. Moreover, semi-automatic handguns are used in connection with violent crimes far more than semi-automatic rifles are.